nombre es Juan Lo Guimet.
My name is Juan
Tengo
Lo
33
Guimet.
años. Vivo en Guarmey.
I'm 33 and I live in Guarmey, Peru.
Mis compañeros me llaman.
My friends call me Purunga. I'm a shellfish harvester.
Soy un mariscador. Me gusta mucho el desierto. En este
I love the
ambiente
desert.
hay mucha
It's such a
tranquilidad,
tranquil environment
y esto
that helps me
ayuda
start the
para
day well.
empezar el día.
My soul
Me
is
siento
always at
siempre
peace.
en paz. Entre el desierto y nuestro océano
Between the
Pacífico,
desert and our Pacific Ocean, at the midpoint,
en el punto medio,
what we experience on our way down is pure
lo que
adrenaline,
vivimos al bajar.
100%.
La pura adrenalina al 100%. El vértigo tremendo de sentir la...
It's really such a rush to feel the ropes in your hands as you descend with all this equipment,
con todo
without
eso
fear
sin
and without
miedo,
looking down,
sin
in order to reach
mirar
your
abajo
destination.
y poder llegar al destino. El bajar un acantilado, tu mente tiene que estar tranquila,
To get down the cliff, your mind has to be calm,
libre
relaxed,
de problemas.
and free of worries.
Al llegar a un
When it's time to go down, we leave our problems at the top, along with our street shoes and our motorbikes.
y la moto, simplemente tú bajas con
You have to go down with your mind free and relaxed. Because if you go down with all that tension and all those problems
con toda
from
esa
your town
tensión,
life,
con todos
you
esos
won't be able to
problemas
concentrate
de
the
la
way you
vida en la
should.
ciudad, no te concentras igual.
That's happened several times,
Pasado muchas veces.
not just to me, but also to all my colleagues, I think. With too much going on, it can be difficult to work well.
Y eso hace de que a veces no puedas trabajar bien. Te arriesgas y bajas con todos tus problemas.
It's risky if you bring your
El
problems
peligro
with
está en
you.
todos lados.
There's danger everywhere.
¿Qué es lo que pienso al bajar un
What
acantilado?
do I think about going down?
Simplemente
I just think about doing things properly,
hacer las cosas
fixing the ropes
correctamente.
properly.
Amarrar bien. Si se trata
If I need to
de-
place an iron
de
spike,
poner un
I make sure I
fierro,
put it in right.
lo pongo bien y todo.
You need to know the proper way to tie a knot
Y simplemente saber
or hammer in an iron
un
spike.
nudo,
The important thing is to always do it correctly.
pero siempre haciendo bien, correctamente. Es un poco como... Es una costumbre.
It's like a habit.
Es una
It's a
costumbre que
task
ya
that becomes routine over the
por
years.
años hemos adoptado.
You lower your poles down, or sometimes you lower your backpack.
O a veces sueltas mochila.
On some cliffs, you just throw the ropes over and start going down.
Botas soga
It's a question of
y
habit.
empiezas a bajar. Es una costumbre. como el ciclista toma su bicicleta.
When a cyclist gets on his bike, he doesn't really think about it. And we attach our ropes and we're ready to go. We don't worry about anything because we're confident in what we do. There's a 100-meter drop below you. So on the cliffs in general, you can't be afraid of heights. We know what we're doing. There's no room for fear.
No hay lugar para el miedo. En nuestra bajada tenemos lugares
We have strategic spots on the way down where we place our ropes that enable us to continue our descent. And those iron spikes are there permanently.
Los fierros siempre.
That said, we always check the condition of the spikes. And sometimes they can look good on first inspection. But they've actually been corroded by the salt and sea spray, and all that's left is an iron shell.
Se hace como cascarón.
Inside, there's a thread, nothing more. That's what happened.
Y es lo que pasó, ¿no? Cuando yo trabajaba con Diego,
When I was working with Diego on the Palo Cruzado cliff, we were going down the south face where the ocean was very rough.
íbamos para el lado sur y el agua estaba muy movida y
So I suggested going up through the crevasse, but the cliff face sloped outwards on the way up, so I had to push myself backwards to get my body up.
tienes que impulsar para atrás para que tu cuerpo suba. Yo subo.
I kept going on up,
En el momento en que mi
but when I
impulso
pushed myself
me
out,
jalo,
the iron spike
se
snapped.
rompe el fierro. El fierro se rompe y simplemente
The
me quedé
spike
con la
broke,
soga en la
and I was
mano.
left with the rope in my hands.
Y yo era para caer abajo.
I was about to fall on the rocks, but I reacted by pushing out with my feet to propel myself into the water.
Impulsarme hacia el agua. hacia el
Sometimes there's
callejón.
nothing you can do.
A veces no puedes hacer nada. Los acantilados son muy duros porque no podemos
The
equivocarnos.
cliffs are totally unforgiving.
Pero
You
son
can't
como
afford to make mistakes.
nuestro segundo
But at the same time, they're like our second home,
para mí,
not only for me,
todos los
but for all of us who
compañeros
work
que
here.
trabajan acá. Porque
We can find what we're looking for everywhere here.
todo lo tenemos ahí.
If someone comes here thinking, today I'm looking for shellfish,
Y dice, hoy quiero.
he can just go down a cliff where he thinks there's lots of seafood and not many
Se va a
chitons.
un acantilado, puesto que sabe que en ese bajadero da mucho marisco y poco barquillo. Quiero chanque y se va a tal sitio.
If he wants sea snails, he'll go to a particular place.
Tenemos todo ahí.
We can get whatever you need here,
Lo tenemos todo.
whatever we need.
Pero poca gente se atreve a bajar.
But not many
estos
people dare to go down the
acantilados. Hay que
cliffs.
tener el corazón bien.
You have to be
frío
calm by
para
nature
hacer
and
otras
totally
cosas.
focused.
Nos
The
abre
cliffs
las
are the
puertas
gateway
para
to a
encontrar un
world
lugar
of
muy
plenty.
abundante. Grandazo es un gran
Grandazo is a good friend.
Es un compañero de trabajo.
He's a workmate that I've known for years.
Hace años y
I've always liked working alone,
bueno, yo
but for a while now we've been working
siempre me ha
together.
gustado trabajar solo, pero desde
He's
hace
good company.
poco estamos saliendo juntos al trabajo y una buena compañía. Desde que tuve
I've had a few
accidentes,
accidents, so I prefer to have company now
estar
on the more
acompañado.
challenging cliffs.
Los bajaderos o acantilados son más difíciles. Para la gente, el ir a un acantilado,
When people approach a
bajadero,
cliff or a slope,
simplemente
they
se
immediately stop.
acercan y
They can't even lean over to take a look down.
No,
They feel dizzy and they're afraid of falling down.
y ver abajo. Es el vértigo, es el miedo que quizás tienen a poder bajar. Nosotros
But we go straight on down.
no es una
The
pared
cliff
para
isn't an
nosotros,
obstacle to
puesto
us
que ya conocemos
because we
el
know the
camino
way, and we know where to
y
put our
sabemos
feet,
dónde pisar,
where to rest,
dónde
and where to
descansar.
walk.
Y caminar también. No todo.
We're not always on a
está
rope
colgado.
with nothing below us.
Siempre hay también
You always get time to
momentos para
rest and
descansar y
walk
caminar,
before getting to the bottom.
para llegar abajo. Acá, nosotros al bajar, todos piensan que
Here, when we go down,
por algún tesoro,
everyone thinks we're looking for
buscar cosas
treasure or something
valiosas.
valuable.
Para nosotros,
But what's
lo
precious to us
bonito
is the
es
seafood we
lo rico
harvest.
que extraemos. Ese es
That's like
como
gold to
el
us,
oro para nosotros,
because it's our food
porque es
and it's our
nuestro
work
sustento,
too.
nuestro trabajo,
That's our treasure.
nada más. Ese es
That's what we go down there for.
y es por eso que bajamos.
Este es el mariscador, este es la caña. ¿Ya? En facultad que esto, como tú sabes,
Cada quien domina a quién.
cada domina, claro, como tú sabes, yo domino este y él domina este. ¿Ya? Cada uno cuál es su trabajo. Sí, es que yo más que todo yo domino mal porque un poco más rápido, soy más rápido que una bala. ¿Cómo te explico? Yo soy más rápido que la luz. O sea que más rápido que el rayo. ¿Me entiendes? Ya, yo, o sea que el rayo viene y yo ya estoy por allá.
Cuando estamos abajo,
When we're down there, we become one with the ocean. Everyone goes to work where he thinks it's best, at a particular spot, depending on the site.
depende del lugar. Con ellas,
I can go anywhere with my poles. They make it easier to get places, so I can get the shellfish off the rocks.
Las cañas son como,
These poles are my hands. They're an extension of my hands.
si es que yo no
I don't know what I'd do without them.
Bueno, por ejemplo, hoy día,
On days like this, when the sea is very rough,
el mar está
when it's
demasiado
too rough,
movido, muy movido.
it's like the sea's way of saying, stay out.
Es como una veda que el mar tiene. Las personas que mariscan
For people who gather seafood with metal blades, with iron,
el mariscar
these waters
con
are dangerous.
agua es muy riesgoso.
the poles do the work for me.
La caña hace el trabajo por mí.
They're very
Sin ellas,
important.
No sería un
I
mariscador.
couldn't do what I do without them.
Cuando termino de amarrar el calcalío con el
When I've got the
hierro
net
que
fixed
va en
and
la
my
caña,
blade on the pole, I just sit on the edge of the wall and I start to fish.
Y empiezo a mariscar.
But I always watch out for those huge waves that can come in.
Las olas inmensas que pueden venir, ¿no? Un mal paso al correr o
One false step while you're running, or even the wrong posture can be risky
también es
too.
un riesgo. Pero
But fortunately, the poles do all the work for
las
me.
cañas lo hacen todo por mí, ¿no? Océano Pacífico está lleno de vida.
The Pacific Ocean is full of life. Coming here is a real pleasure for me. And not just to fish, but to enjoy everything that's around me, the birds and the surrounding biodiversity.
La biodiversidad que encuentro a mi
I make the
alrededor.
most of it, and I enjoy what I do. Every day. Really enjoy and love what I do. Not just harvesting seafood, but interacting with my surroundings.
Interactuar con todo lo que me rodea. Mariscar con caña es un
Harvesting seafood with poles is an art.
Es como que
It's like you get used to doing what you like to do.
acostumbra a hacer
All
lo que-
day I
lo
harvest
que le
seafood
gusta a
with my
uno.
poles.
Todo el día
That's all I do,
marisco con
at
caña,
low tide,
además.
at high tide,
En seca, en
whether the
llena,
water's calm
buena
or
o
rough.
movida. No todos pueden
It's an art,
hacerlo.
but it's not for everyone.
En el sentido de
Some people
que
try it out, but they get tired of it quickly,
pero somos
because you need
creativos.
strong arms and a lot of dexterity and accuracy to be able to get those
Mucha
shellfish.
fuerza en los brazos, mucha habilidad y precisión para
If you go
poder
for
sacar
one
un
and you
marisco.
prod it with your spike, but you can't get it off the rock, then you just have to leave it.
Lo hincas con el fierro y no lo pudiste sacar simplemente
Because when a
déjalo
mollusk
ahí.
is on a rock
Porque
and
el
it feels
marisco,
something touching
al
it,
estar en la
then
pared,
it tenses up and it
siente
clings
que
to the
algo
rock
toca y
harder.
se chupa, se pega más todavía. Si es que lo sacas,
If you try to get it
abre
again,
la cáscara
the
y
shell
la
will come
carne
off,
se queda pegada.
but the meat,
Mejor simplemente
the mollusk itself,
dejarlo
will
ahí.
stay stuck to the rock.
Para una próxima
Better to
vez,
leave it.
Nada más.
You'll get it some other time, that's all.
Al bajar un acantilado,
You're never alone on the cliffs.
siempre estamos solos.
You're often with the sea lions that live there.
Compañía junto con los
They're a bit
lobos
like our
que vemos
friends.
por ahí.
They're always there at the
Podría
bottom of the
decirle que
cliffs.
Son como nuestros amigos, ¿no? Están siempre ahí abajo de los acantilados. Aquí están bien
They have a
cuidados
good
por la
life here
cantidad
because
de
of the amount of food they
comida que
find.
hay. Es una
This is one of
población de
South
las más
America's
grandes
biggest
de América del
populations.
Sur. En cuanto a la precisión,
In terms of our accuracy,
cada toque
wherever the pole touches the rock, there's a shellfish.
simplemente.
As for the chitons, it's hard to get them off the rock.
En cuanto al barquillo es muy
When you
fuerte
touch them,
para
they cling to the
poder
rock.
sacarlo. Cuando lo
The
tocas,
limpets
sí se
clamp
pega.
themselves to the rock too.
El blanco se chupa.
But after a
también,
moment,
pero la
if you
pausa,
tap them 2 or 3
le puedes dar
times,
2
they'll come
o
out.
3 veces y puede salir. El chanque también es
Sea
muy
snails are
fuerte.
tough too.
En cuanto al chanque,
With the sea snails, you find them all bunched together like grapes.
como racimos de uva.
So you need to get the first one fast and be quick with the rest.
Rapidito por uno y
Because if you take too long, the other sea snails will jump off
porque si
one
es
by
que tú
one.
te demoras, los chanques se van soltando de uno.
They'll feel your presence and they'll jump into the
Sienten la
water.
presencia de lo que le está sacando y se tiran al agua. A veces no hay nada.
Sometimes there's nothing,
Como hoy día
like today
para
for
la tarde.
Grandazo.
Es que el agua es muy movida.
That's because the water's really rough.
El agua
When the
cuando
water's
mueve,
rough, for us it's a bit
para
like it is
nosotros
with trawling.
Es por decir, los pescadores
They
de
like to
boliche,
catch the silverside, but you can't fish for silverside all year round.
pero el pejerrey no es todo el
There's
año.
clearly a
Tiene su
defined season
temporada.
and a period when fishing is prohibited,
Y
during which the
consigo
state
trae la
imposes
vida.
restrictions
Un
to allow the
tiempo
fish to
donde
grow and to reproduce.
El Estado dice, hasta aquí no más.
There's no period in when what we do is banned.
y se reproduzcan.
But if the sea were always accommodating, there'd be no shellfish
Para
left.
nosotros no tenemos, si es
When the
que
sea is rough,
mar fuera
that's our
todo
prohibited
bien bueno,
period.
No hubiera marisco.
It's as if the sea were saying, this much, but no more. Be patient, so the seafood can grow,
Hasta acá nomás.
so they can all grow.
Espérate que,
The sea snails, the shellfish,
ya,
the sole,
que todo crezca.
everything.
Chanque, marisco, la lengua, todo. Para que el mar me deje trabajar,
The sea
utilizamos
lets us
las
do our
cañas.
work with poles.
Hablar de cañas,
And when we talk about poles, we have to think about José Marqui, who is known as El Zorro, the fox. He was one of the pioneers of the pole technique.
Con las cañas, ¿no?
¿Qué horas son? Voy a bajar a sacar marisco. Después me voy a
Es como decir el taita.
He's the father of the
de los
cliffs.
bajaderos.
He taught us the basics of what we do, especially me, how to use the pole with dexterity.
Bueno, a mí, en especial me enseñó la destreza con las cañas. El mundo que nos rodea es hostil.
The world around us is hostile, and not just to humans. When you see the sea lions, especially the big males that live below, there's a lot of rivalry among them
Ahí abajo.
to protect their harem.
La gran rivalidad que hay entre ellos por cuidar su harén. Y siempre es por la misma causa.
The goal is always the same, to mate and procreate.
Y poder procrear. Cuando la extracción de mariscos ha estado buena,
When shellfish harvesting has been good, I always take the time to go fishing where I know it's a good spot. Not many fishermen come here. The boats don't go near the cliffs because it's very dangerous for them.
Muy peligroso para ellos. Un, dos, tres,
1, 2, 3, 4.
cuatro.
That's good for
Excelente para
fishing.
pescar. También hay
There are good spots where you can catch nice fish.
lindos peces.
But when the
Pero cuando
tide changes,
la corriente
it takes the fish with it, and sometimes there aren't many.
y a veces no hay mucho pescado. Hay que
You have to
fijarse
pay
muy
close
bien.
attention.
Pero me encanta.
But
la
I love
pesca.
fishing.
Nunca se
You
sabe
never know
lo
what
que
you'll
va a salir.
catch.
Los acantilados lo tienen.
You can find everything around these cliffs. Not just shellfish, but also a wide variety of fish.
First,
we shell the bait, which is mostly small crabs.
Es el cangrejillo. Una de las virtudes
One of the qualities that you need for fishing is patience.
es la paciencia. Quizás a
Sometimes you
veces
might move from one bay to another, but still not find any fish.
encuentra los peces. Pero con la
But with patience
paciencia
and
y la
intuition,
intuición,
we eventually succeed.
lo llegamos a encontrar.
Oh, wow. Es chita, es chita. Sí. Wow. De medio kilo. Por ahí deben estar los papás más grandes.
Cenizo lo conozco hace ya
I've known Cenizo for quite a while. I trust him because he has the skills and dexterity needed to maneuver the boat close to the cliffs and into these spots.
Y poder entrar a esos sitios. Hay lugares en los
There are places that are too dangerous to get into. You have to find another way in.
para llegar a ellos. En este caso,
In those situations, I call on my friend Cenizo.
a mi amigo Cenizo,
He has a boat and it takes me to those places,
el cual me lleva
which makes it easier for me to get there.
tener acceso. Sé que si algo
I know that if anything ever happens to me, he'll be there to help. If I can't get up or the spot is too hard to get to, I know he'll be there. I can get back on the boat and try again.
Utilizamos una cámara de llanta de camión como
We use a
flotador
tire inner tube as a float to transport the equipment we need to work on the cliffs.
a trabajar en los acantilados.
That means I don't have to wear myself out swimming back and forth.
Vuelta para no cansarme. A veces en los viajes que
Sometimes when we make our way to the cliffs, we talk about different things. I'm usually in the front of the boat, and he's in the back, talking to me. Often because of the noise from the engine and the wind, he's talking and I just say, yes, yes, oh, yes. But I didn't actually understand a word he was saying to me.
Sí, nada más. Y ni siquiera le entiendo lo que me dijo. Hay mucho peligro.
The sea is full of dangers, one of which is the sea lions. Something happened to a friend of mine.
Ya le ha pasado esto. Se tira al agua y
He jumped into the sea and got bitten on the thigh by one of those big animals, by a sea lion.
un lobo marino. Sus mandíbulas son muy
Their jaws are really powerful.
No es como el de los
It's not like a dog bite, it's much more powerful.
Fue derivado al hospital y
My friend went to the hospital and had to have surgery. That's why we take so many precautions, to make sure everything goes smoothly.
para que las cosas salgan sin ningún problema. Después de largo viaje en el bote,
After a long boat ride, we finally get to the place where we're going to work. Once we're in the water, we have to judge the waves carefully and catch one that will get us to the rocks.
Tiene que calcular bien las olas y tomar a esa de que
Then we have to get up to the spot where we'll be working.
y subir tranquilamente donde uno va a tener que trabajar. Siempre que empiezo mi jornada en el mar,
When I start my day at sea, I remember the words of those who have worked at sea for years. You shouldn't be afraid of the sea, but you should respect
al
it.
mar no se le tiene que tener miedo, sino respeto. Una de las cosas que
One of the
siempre
things I always tell my colleagues is, we can't just look for shellfish.
salgo con ellos,
We have to keep an eye on the sea too.
ver el mar
That's why we have two
y
eyes.
ver el agua. Para eso
You have
tenemos
one eye for the
yo les
sea
digo,
and another for the
uno para el
mollusks.
mar y otro para los moluscos. Podría haber elegido una
I could have chosen an occupation that's more relaxing and not so risky,
Sin embargo, es lo que
but this is what I like doing. I'm happy here, surrounded by nature and the life in it.
Y de la vida que la rodea. El mar es impresionante.
The sea is impressive. With each breaking wave, you learn to judge the best time to get out of the danger zone and the best time to go in and get the shellfish.
Entrar para extraer los mariscos. Algo de admirar cuando uno viene a los acantilados.
The seabirds are one of the truly amazing things on the cliffs. Northern gannets nest in the cliffs, on the ledges on the cliff face. You'd never think they could survive here, but here they are.
Uno ni se imagina que ahí puedan vivir, pero ahí están. Lo que nosotros sacamos acá,
The seafood that we find here in Guarmey can't be found anywhere else.
no lo ves en otros lugares. Para la
The
gente
people who enjoy the flavors often tell us that the taste is unique.
nos han dicho
That's why the
muchas
shellfish
veces
from
que no es lo
Guarmey
mismo.
is sent out to other regions,
De acá
where
de
it's served in
Guarmey,
restaurants.
envían mariscos hacia otros lugares para que puedan preparar en los restaurantes. Los mismos
It's the
peces,
same with fish. Our fish tastes different from fish from other regions.
el mismo sabor que otros peces en diferentes lugares. Y todo esto
It's all sent out to the
llega al
markets and
mercado
picanterias.
picanterías. Y cada día
Every day we go
regresamos
back to
a la ciudad.
town.
No dormimos
We
aquí.
don't sleep here.
Es la
That's another part of the day.
Desde que empecé a trabajar en
When I started working out in these areas, my father already knew them.
bueno, mi papá
He knew these
conoce
places
estos
were here.
lugares. Sabe de la existencia de estos
But my
lugares.
mother and
Mi
sisters
madre
don't
y
know
mis
the
hermanas,
cliffs.
nadie sabe.
They have no idea what it's like here.
No se imaginan cómo son. Pienso que ellas vienen.
But I think that if they came to see the cliffs, they'd tie me up to prevent me from coming back to work here, for fear that one day I wouldn't return home because of the serious risks that we're exposed to on the cliffs.
Riesgo que nosotros corremos en esos acantilados.
Mira, cuando venimos nosotros entre dos, utilizamos esta pasteca. Esta pasteca es para uno bajar y el otro va bajando con lo que regresa.
El accidente fue a las 10 de la mañana. Yo al caer.
The accident happened at 10 in the morning. As I fell, I opened my arms, and one arm hit the edge of the rock face.
En la roca. Y eso hace que
That split the bone in half, leaving an open
sea
fracture.
una fractura expuesta. Rompió tejido.
That ripped my clothes, including my neoprene suit.
Y fue donde justo murió Diego.
This is the exact spot where Diego died.
Estuve subiendo.
I was going up without having rested.
Venía de otro bajadero.
I was coming back from another cliff, and I was worn out.
Quise subir toda la pared de
I wanted to
frente.
climb all the way up the wall, and my arms gave out.
Llega un momento en que
At a
sientes
certain point,
caliente
you
tus
feel a
brazos
warmth
y
in your arms.
quieres seguir subiendo
You
y
want to
no-
keep going up, but you can't make
no
it.
puedes, pero o sea,
You're
estás
torn
entre
between a desire to keep going and staying put.
subir o quedarte ahí, ¿no?
Your hands can no longer hold the rope.
Ya mis manos ya no agarraban la
I
soga.
thought, I can't do it. I don't have any strength.
Sí, pa.
I thought it was all over.
Pensé que era mi fin.
I saw my life flash before my eyes in a split second.
One
day I got a telephone call, and I suddenly found out that Diego was gone. The sea had taken him. They never found his body. That was a big shock. And that's why I now prefer going down the cliffs with someone else. With company, it's safer.
Acompañado, para más seguridad.
I don't like moving around much anymore. In the past, I liked to do sports, but I can't anymore. I can jog a little and that's all. I think I'll be able to run again given time. I'll recover little by little. I spent 6 months in Lima in rehabilitation and physical therapy, working on it every day, taking medication to help me recover faster. Again, people said, Purunga is dead. He fell off the cliffs. It's terrible, but that's life for the people who work on the cliffs.
Así es la vida de los que trabajan en los acantilados.
Life isn't easy. Every day is a challenge. We don't know whether we'll make it home in the evening, but it's the life we want to live. It's the life we love. Some of my friends have gone, but we're back with them every day. They're with us in the cliffs, and every day they remind us to be careful.
Debemos tener cuidado. La naturaleza es fuerte.
Nature is powerful, and you can't fight it. We get on our motorbikes and head back into town, leaving the cliffs behind us, and thanking God that we're going home, safe and sound. Now we just need to deliver the treasure that we took from the cliffs. We're going back happy, glad to have found so much here. And we're even happier to be going back home to see our families.
Y hola, buenos días.
Día 20 nada más, el agua está bien movida. The seafood is displayed on tables and sold by the dozen. O también como
There are also women who prepare the seafood right on the spot.
preparan al instante tanto los mariscos
Chitons and sea snails, for example, so people can enjoy them here.
para el deguste de las personas. Y cada día
And every day, we start all over again.
empezamos de nuevo.